For some kids, fireworks aren't a treat. They're an ambush of sudden, unpredictable, painfully loud sound. In this explainer, we're going to dive right into exactly why this happens. We'll be drawing directly from clinical research on sound sensitivity so you can really understand what's going on in your child's brain and body, and most importantly, how you can actually help them navigate it. Let's start by looking at the sound ambush itself. As a parent, witnessing your child's extreme distress during what's supposed to be a fun, joyful celebration is just heartbreaking, and it can feel incredibly isolating. What we're talking about here isn't a mild dislike or a toddler throwing a tantrum. This distress is completely visceral. It looks like a child aggressively covering their ears in actual pain, intense crying or panic, desperately fleeing the area, or just totally avoiding the event altogether. Their nervous system isn't actively responding to what it perceives as a massive threat. So, what does the science actually say about this? To understand why this happens, we have to look closely at the medical literature. And we've got to be radically honest right up front. There is currently no specific peer-reviewed study out there that isolates the fear of fireworks in children. We never want to fabricate statistics here, so instead, we're going to look at the closest, most rigorous, applicable evidence we do have. That evidence comes from the study of decreased sound tolerance, or DST, particularly from within the autism literature, where this has been researched quite heavily. DST is basically an umbrella clinical term. It describes a few distinct conditions that all involve a severe inability to tolerate everyday sounds, sounds that most of us just easily filter out or ignore. Let's unpack the why behind this intense fear. Decreased sound tolerance is not just some behavioral quirk. It's deeply rooted in how the brain is wired. Our first major pillar under the DST umbrella is hyperacusis. This is a condition where the sheer volume of a sound, like the booming of a firework, isn't just loud, it genuinely, physically hurts. Imagine your internal volume dial is turned up dangerously high and broken off. For them, moderate to loud sounds are perceived as painfully overwhelming. The second pillar we need to talk about is phonophobia. Now, if hyperacusis is the physical pain of the sound itself, phonophobia is the agonizing dread and anxiety of waiting for that next boom to happen. It's an anticipatory fear. The child learns that a painful noise is out there, and their brain just goes into hyperdrive. They're constantly scanning their environment in a state of severe anxiety, just bracing for the next strike. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates why fireworks are the ultimate perfect storm for a child with decreased sound tolerance. First, the bang is painfully loud, which triggers that physical hyperacusis response. Second, the timing is totally unpredictable. There's no rhythm, no warning, meaning the startle response to the nervous system is completely maximized. And third, the anticipation of the next random boom builds immense dread, which is phonophobia. You've got pain, shock, and dread all wrapped up into one single event. Quick side note, it's really important to distinguish this physical pain from another condition you might have heard of called misophonia. Misophonia involves an intense emotional reaction, like deep anger or disgust, triggered by specific, often quiet sounds, like someone chewing or breathing heavily. Hyperacusis, which is what's triggered by fireworks, is fundamentally different. It's all about the sheer intensity of the sound, causing genuine physical discomfort and pain. So just how prevalent are these conditions? Well, while any kid can experience sound sensitivity, decreased sound tolerance is incredibly common among autistic children. Major reviews show it affects anywhere from 50 to 70% of that population. The autism literature provides an amazingly strong anchor for understanding this. A major meta-analysis estimated that hyperacusis specifically has a 41% current prevalence and a massive 61% lifetime prevalence in autistic children. That is an enormous portion of kids who are just walking around, experiencing a world at a painfully loud volume. It perfectly explains why unpredictable, booming sounds are so deeply distressing for them. All right, let's move on to the most important part, practical steps to help. Knowing this is a genuine physiological response, how do we actually practically support these kids warmly and effectively? Well, a fascinating 2024 clinical case report showed significant success using modified cognitive behavioral therapy for a child with hyperacusis. By combining sensory regulation, ear protection fading, and exposure therapy, the child was able to generalize these skills toward tolerating fireworks. Let's break down 4 practical steps based on this approach. Step 1 is giving advanced warning. Predictability is literally your absolute best tool. Because the unpredictability of fireworks causes such a massive startle response, giving an active countdown, saying something like, okay, the loud part is coming in 3, 2, 1, removes that element of surprise. It allows the child's brain to brace for the impact, which significantly lowers that jolt to their nervous system. Step 2 involves ear protection. Now, noise-canceling headphones are a fantastic immediate shield to drop the decibel level. However, the crucial point is this. Relying on them constantly to block out the world can actually increase a child's sound sensitivity over time. Their brain gets too used to the muffled quiet, making normal sounds seem even louder when the headphones finally come off. So they're a great tool, but best used strategically alongside other coping strategies, not as a permanent fix. Step 3 is simply increasing distance. Moving further away from the source automatically lowers the physical impact. But step 4 is where the real long-term work happens, graduated exposure. Weeks prior to a holiday, you can try playing recorded fireworks sounds on your phone or TV at a barely audible, completely comfortable volume while your child is playing. Over the following weeks, incrementally raise the volume, very slightly, ensuring they stay perfectly calm. By the time the event day arrives, you combine this built-up tolerance with distance, ear protection, and your countdown warnings. You are systematically training their brain that the sound is safe. Finally, let's talk about when it's time to seek help. While these home strategies are incredibly powerful, it's vital to recognize when a reaction crosses a line. We need to distinguish between a common, everyday childhood fear of loud noises, which is totally typical and doesn't severely disrupt your family's life, and a persistent sensory condition that causes severe avoidance, isolation, or genuine physical pain. If sound distress is persistent and it's actively limiting your daily routines, whether that's avoiding the grocery store, crying at school assemblies, or hiding in a closet during holidays, an audiology or developmental assessment is absolutely warranted. This is especially true if autism or another sensory processing difference is suspected. Getting the right professionals involved, like an audiologist or an occupational therapist, can be truly life-changing for your child's comfort and your family's freedom. By understanding the very real science of sound tolerance, we can replace our frustration with empathy and our helplessness with a practical plan. So the next time the sky lights up, which of these strategies are you going to try first to guide your child safely through the noise? Fear Me Not helps kids conquer fears through play.